You're 17 in 18th century Venice when the gondola glides up to your family's crumbling canal-side door. Your father is a bankrupt glassblower. Your mother sells lace to tourists who call it quaint. Your younger sister coughs with the damp rot that clings to every stone in this city of water and decay. Then he arrives, Count Alvise, silk coat gleaming, breath smelling of wine and cloves. He doesn't ask for your hand. He offers your father 200 ducats to sponsor your artistic development. Your daughter has rare beauty, he says, eyes lingering too long on your neck. She belongs among patrons, not paupers. Your father takes the money. Not because he's cruel, but because your sister needs medicine, and the landlord threatens eviction by week's end. You pack a single dress, your mother's rosary, and a sketchbook filled with drawings of birds in flight. You tell yourself it's only for a season. I'll return with savings, with dignity. You don't know you're walking into the Casa Chiosetta closed house Venice's most elegant brothel disguised as a salon of art and music. They don't call it slavery. They call it protection. They don't call it violation. They call it entertainment. They don't call you a victim. They call you La Bella, the beautiful one. Your room is velvet and mirrors. Your meals are delicate pastries and spiced wine. Men in powdered wigs call you Muse, Goddess, Venus reborn. They commission portraits of you draped in silk, gazing dreamily at the lagoon. But no one paints the truth, the locked door you can't open from the inside, the bruises hidden beneath lace gloves, the way you learn to hold your breath when a client's attention grows rough. Because screaming means fewer tips or worse, being replaced by the new girl from Padua. You're not allowed to refuse. Refusal is ingratitude. Tears are bad for business. Your body is not yours, it's part of the house's inventory, like the crystal chandeliers and imported rugs. At first, you count the nights. Then you stop. Time blurs into rotations. The banker on Mondays, the cardinal's nephew on Thursdays, the English tourist who pays extra to hear you speak Italian in a sweet voice. You perfect the art of smiling with dead eyes, of laughing while your stomach clenches, of pretending pleasure so convincingly that even you sometimes forget it's an act. You see girls break. Lucia from Verona throws herself into the canal after a client's cruelty breaks her spirit. Isabella goes mute, rocking in her room for weeks until they send her to a convent for rest. You survive by building walls inside your mind. While your body endures, your soul retreats to a memory. Your father blowing glass, the molten orange glow, the way he'd shape something fragile into beauty. That's who I am, you whisper in the dark. Not this. By 20, your hands are soft, but your spirit is calloused. You've learned to read men like maps. Who will tip well? Who will hurt you? Who might let you keep a sliver of dignity? You save every coin. Hide them in the spine of your sketchbook. You dream of buying your freedom, of opening a small shop, of never having to smile again, unless you mean it. But freedom has a price even higher than beauty. The padrona the madam smiles when you ask. Darling, she purrs, you're worth more to me alive than free. And who would believe a girl like you chose this life? Know a better to stay where you're loved. It's not a request. It's a threat. Then the plague comes. Not the Black Death but smallpox. It sweeps through Venice like judgment. Clients vanish. The house grows quiet. One morning, you find the padrona dead in her bed, face pockmarked, rosary tangled in her fingers. The authorities seal the building. Quarantine, they say. But you know, they'll burn it, all furniture, dresses, girls to stop the spread. You escape through a servant's passage, barefoot, clutching your sketchbook. You run until your lungs burn, past churches and markets, until you reach the mainland. A farmer's wife takes you in, feeds you broth, gives you a cot in the barn. For the first time in years, no one touches you without asking. For the first time, silence feels like peace, not punishment. You never return to Venice. You marry the farmer's son not for love, but safety. You bear 3 children. You teach them to read. You never speak of your past. When your daughter asks why you flinch at perfume, you say, "It reminds me of a dream I'd rather forget. Decades pass. Your children grow. Your hair turns white. Venice becomes a postcard romantic, distant, safe. Tourists flock to see the canals, the masks, the mystique of the old courtesans. They buy trinkets shaped like your face. At 78, you read a newspaper article, The Forgotten Women of Venice's Pleasure Houses. A historian has uncovered ledgers' names, prices, client lists. Your name is there, Chiara, age 17. Purchased by Count Alvise, 1743. Beneath it, disappeared during smallpox outbreak, presumed dead. You sit very still. Then, you take out your old sketchbook, the one you saved from the fire. On the last page you write, I was not a courtesan. I was a child sold for beauty. They called me art. But I was just a thing to be used, then discarded. Do not romanticize my pain. Do not call my Pole prison a palace. Remember me as I was, stolen, silenced, and nearly erased. You send it to the historian. She publishes your letter. Students write pieces. Museums add your story to exhibits. For the first time, the world sees the truth behind the myth. Now, in your final years, you tell your granddaughter, beauty is not a gift when it's used to trap you. Silence is not safety when it lets lies grow. And history only changes when someone dares to say, this is what really happened. So if you see a woman called beautiful but treated like property speak, if you hear a story dressed in silk but built on suffering, question it, and never, ever confuse attention with love. You close your eyes. The lagoon is far away, but your voice? It finally reached the shore. Romanticizing exploitation erases the victim. True honor lies not in glorifying their suffering as glamour, but in acknowledging their humanity and ensuring no one else is sold for their beauty again.